welcome back to YCR's Food for Thought series. For many newcomers, you've joined us on a great day as this is our 100th Food for Thought. For anyone needing a quick refresher, YCR is a natural resource advocacy group made by students and young professionals for students and young professionals. We believe that Canada can have a bright future in resources, the economy, and the environment. Make sure you toss us a follow on social media at YC Resources. So my name is Lyndon. I'm with Ryan and Camila. So I will get into the introductions, just a little bit about myself. My name is Lyndon. As I just said, I am the outreach coordinator at YCR. Unlike the last few times I've spoken on here, I'm no longer a student at the University of Lethbridge, but rather a graduate. Yes, you did hear it here first. For some odd reason, they gave me my piece of paper and I'm out of there. So before I slide the floor over to Camila, I want to truly thank every one of you for attending this, whether you are watching it live or in the recording. The fact that Food for Thought has turned into a 100 episode series truly means the world to myself and everyone in the organization. So whether this is your first time watching Food for Thought or you've been with us since it was Brunch and Biz, thank you. And with that being said, I will pass it over to my partner Camila, where she can introduce you to YCR, and I'll throw up the slides.
Thank you, Lyndon. Super happy to be here. I quickly want to introduce myself first, since it is the first time that I'm appearing in Food for Thought. So my name is Camila. I am from Quebec. I am speaking to you directly from Quebec, where I am currently doing a graduate degree in environmental management and climate change. So sustainability has always been a passion for me. I only started working at YCR in December of 2022. So if, like me, you are new to the movement, let me do a quick refresh of what we do. Young Canadian for Resources is made by and for young people across Canada. Our goal is to advocate for and participate in Canada's natural resource sectors. So because of my background in environmental studies, I have experienced firsthand how polarizing and heavy the discourse around natural resources has been, especially in the last few years. So bringing more nuance into those discussions and conversation is really what motivated me to join YCR in the first place. One of the great ways that YCR is bringing balance into conversations surrounding resource development is by putting equal importance on people, on planet, and on prosperity. We know resource production can have both positive and negative impacts, both on local communities, natural ecosystems, economic development. So making sure those three social, environmental, and financial issues are taken into account when it comes to resource development is really what makes it sustainable and what Canada is trying for. So if, like me, you really care about climate change, it is especially crucial to put equal value on people, planet, and prosperity. YCR not only believes in that, but promotes the intersection of those three aspects through social media, career development, and awareness campaigns. Our ultimate mission here at YCR is to make sure we, as students and as young professionals, we understand, we value, and we support resource development in Canada because of our world-leading metrics in terms of ethics and sustainable practice.
So really quickly, that was a great little reintroduction from Camila. We're very excited to now have her on our team. But with that being said, the aims of this program have always been pretty clear, or at least we've been very open about it. We want to create a network of students and young professionals from coast to coast who are passionate about Canada's resources. Like what we said in the last slide, we want to inspire young Canadians into participating in all of our natural resource sectors, whether you have a passion for the forestry industry in British Columbia or the nuclear industry in Ontario, or even the fisheries industries that are seen in Atlantic Canada. Regardless of where you're from or where your passion is held, YCR is built to highlight the great work that all of these industries in Canada do. So circling back to how do we highlight these industries? Well, obviously social media is a huge way that we've put the spotlight on these industries, but in other realms though, this right here, Food for Thought. It's another way that we've used to highlight and spotlight these different industries. So through the last 100 weeks, give or take for holidays, we've been running this program with featured speakers that have talked about various resources, whether that's the CEO of Bruce Power talking on the nuclear industry and what they provide for energy in Ontario and what they did in Canada for just a few other manufacturing side things, or speakers from Atlantic Canada talking about the impact that fisheries have on the local economies and honestly their way of life. We want to highlight to young people across Canada these different resources and their impact, not only in the economy, but how they impact our ways of life and the work that each of these industries are individually putting on towards a sustainable future in the environment.
Thank you, Lyndon, for precisely elaborating our mission. I would like to quickly introduce myself. So my name is Ryan Fournier. I'm from North Bay, Ontario, and I'm currently finishing a double major in criminology and political science at the University of Ottawa, hopefully graduating in May. I've been working with YCR for over a year now, and looking back at it, it's been one of the best years of my life, which has opened doors I never thought I'd ever even get the chance to get into. When I started, we were slowly breaking out as a national platform, but presently we have expanded across the country, touching most provinces and communities from coast to coast. Looking back on year 2022, we had quite the successful year, holding over 20 events across Canada and expanding our reach to most regions. Our social media reach has also grown tremendously, seeing engagements and supporter counts go up every week. We have enacted many unique campaigns to reach broader audiences across all the different regions which this nation encompasses. Campaigns like Resources in My Backyard, a campaign where members make content about the significance of resources in their respective areas, or a recent campaign that I've had the pleasure to be a part of, the Choose Canadian Energy campaign, which have all been successful in engaging broader reach across very different audiences. More and more, we are becoming a reference for young professionals and students seeking balanced and informed conversations on resource futures. Coming off of this huge year, we did all these amazing things. We also changed our name, as you may have noticed. I'll hand it over to Camila, and she can talk more about why we changed our name.
Thank you, Ryan. So some of you may know us since before last fall. If that's the case, then you might have noticed that we indeed changed our name. So we used to be known as SFC, Students for Canada. At the end of 2022, we changed it to YCR, Young Canadian for Resources. We changed our name because we realized that not all of our supporters identified as students anymore, that our audience is better suited to the young Canadian demographic of this country. The name Student for Canada wasn't that inclusive. And I had a meeting of 4 people that once they were done being students and were working, they no longer had a place in YCR. We want to keep being the place where young Canadians, whether they are working or still in school, can come to network with others and learn more about the resources. The youth perspective to our work is still at the forefront of our program, and we hope that more youth can recognize themselves as being a part of this community under the banner of Young Canadian for Resources.
Yeah, so obviously, the name change was a huge part of what we did this year, but other things that we did was the return of in-person events that we were finally able to start hosting for the first time since pre-pandemic. So since this program started in 2022, we haven't really had that opportunity to host a plethora of events in person and really try and foster more of that community aspect that we've talked about before. Where prior to these in-person events, we did host trivia nights like virtually and a few other kinds of events that were all on the computer, and really just did our best to bring everyone together, and it actually, worked out. But coming out of this year, we were like, let's host some in-person events, and it turned out to be a lot bigger than what we had probably even internally initially expected. So throughout the year, we hosted events throughout Ontario, into Nova Scotia, and in Alberta as well. Each of these events were different than the others, while some may have been a simple food and beverage kind of event, some like the one in Ottawa, which Ryan will probably get more into later, but it involved having speakers and speeches and really joining students together and young professionals together to support some great causes. So in some of the other spaces that we did, we had some more recreational activities, like at the University of Waterloo, where we hosted trivia nights, pumpkin carving night with their members at that group, and as well as our usual brand of just a mixer. Now, they weren't the only kinds of events that we were hosting in Calgary. We came up with the speed networking events where young Canadians could meet and mingle with executives from different companies and with all these different kinds of backgrounds, whether that was lawyers, engineers, or key decision makers, or even just recruiters. We were able to bring young people face to face with professionals who could help them learn firsthand how best to conduct themselves in that kind of environment. So this event was incredibly important for us to maintain the career development and networking side of things. We love to give students opportunities to meet and give young professionals opportunities to grow their own career and advance and meet new people. Beyond that, though, we had another great event in the summer in our Dragon's Den, where we had 4 teams of students and young professionals come together and make up their own campaign ideas. Now, we put these students in a room with executives where they could pitch their ideas and highlight the reasons why they think these campaigns could work in Atlantic Canada, Ontario, Quebec, the territories. Really, you name the area. These campaigns were geared towards those interests. While we are just starting 2 of the new campaigns, which I'll leave for Camila to mention hopefully in a bit, we did have one campaign from Ryan come out at the end of 2022, which was truly a banger of a campaign, if I do say so myself. And with all that being said, I will let Ryan take the reins.
Thank you, Lyndon. After witnessing earlier in 2022 the barbaric Russian invasion of Ukraine and the everlasting brutal and tragic effects it has induced on the Ukrainian population, which it still terrorizes today, as well as seeing our friends and allies across Europe and the entire world go under direct threat of energy insecurity, they began demanding and pleading for alternatives as dependencies on authoritarian and threatening energy suppliers like Russia was becoming increasingly a clear and present danger for energy security, global sustainability, and the protection of all vulnerable communities and vital resource supplies. As the conversation was once again at the forefront of mainstream media, I, along with 99 other students, launched our Choose Canadian Energy, Not War Oil campaign to raise vital questions in relation to our future as young people who care about environmental sustainability and energy security for our planet and the communities which encompass it. We stood as 100 students who were concerned by these recent events, which have put the entire security of energy supply across the globe in jeopardy, thus demanding a stronger voice, a voice of young people to demand once again the call to action for responsibly produced Canadian energy over war funding and human rights abusing oil and gas suppliers who are currently the market choice. But with the daily events and tragedies, fears and insecurities we are seeing all around the world, the necessity to call for alternative, cleaner, safer, more reliable, and more ethical energy supplies, which have been completely left out of the discussion over the years, has become a clear and present issue in the modern day. We think Canadian energy suppliers have the capacity and natural ability to answer this call to action. As students and young professionals seeking to further protect our planet, defend human rights, and stand for more responsibly produced global energy supply, to transition the world away from dangerous dependencies on suppliers which threaten our global environment and our global and individual security. We further opened this campaign pledge to the public, where it amassed to date almost 8.6 thousand signatures across the country. We have further expanded our audience to touch regions and communities who may have never joined a Canadian energy campaign before, but the conversation is happening. And we as young actors of a new and better future hope to become beacons to propel it. As someone from rural Northern Ontario, I can tell you firsthand of many of these conversations about choosing Canadian energy over less ethical, less clean energy supplies get overlooked. The people within these rural communities across Northern Ontario are pro-human rights, pro-using responsibly produced Canadian resources. Many in these communities are constantly asking me why we're buying Russian oil, or why we were ever buying Russian oil, which funds war and oppression, and not developing and purchasing ethically produced Canadian energy alternatives right here at home. Myself, along with all our young supporters, know how important and crucial these conversations are in a time like today. So elevating this campaign was necessary for us. We did not want to be bystanders during this unprecedented global crisis, which affects all of our futures, including the planet's future. From this campaign, we have gotten a few publications and appearances into media and mainstream news, from 2 pieces which were posted on Yahoo Finance as well as Newswire, highlighting the campaign's successes, to a radio debate on the Mike Smythe show based in Vancouver, which was also very successful. We've gotten tremendous successes and have exceeded expectations in so many ways. This was very fun to lead and be a part of. In Ottawa, where I'm currently based for university, I was able to hold a joint event with Ladies of Liberty Canada, a feminist organization in the nation's capital, which had an unbelievable turnout with amazing speeches and good food. It also showed me how easy it is with the resources which YCR provide its members to start an event and bring young people together for conversations that matter in relation to our future. YCR has truly helped me propel my voice on crucial issues in relation to our planet, the people which inhabit it, as well as the overall prosperity of all communities, in ways that I can proudly say have had incredibly successful impacts on the most important of conversations, especially for students and young people seeking better and safer futures. I'll hand it over to Camilla.
Thank you, Ryan, for this great example of how YCR campaigns can be so impactful. So as we are entering 2023, we aim to continue doing such meaningful campaigns. For example, the Resources in My Backyard campaign mentioned earlier by Lyndon is one of the many projects we will work to expand in the new year. With this specific campaign, we will strive to grow interest across Canada about local resources and grow compassion about how our different resources communities aren't that different overall. But beside campaigns, we will strive to expand our presence across the country by holding events in multiple provinces. We can notably expect in-person networking events and happenings in and outside of Calgary, but also throughout Ontario, Quebec, and the Maritimes as well. We will also continue to grow our reach on social media by doing what we do best, which is creating engaging, enjoyable, and informative content about Canada's natural resource sectors. YCR will keep making these food for thought, so make sure to tune in every week. And if you like or are interested in our content, there is many ways you can support us. Lyndon, can you get into how people can get involved?
Absolutely, I can. And yes, that is a photo of myself in the background. When you make the PowerPoint, you get creative control. So I did put a picture of myself in the slides. Sue me, whatever. So how can you get more involved with this program? Simply put, the best way to start showing support is to follow us on social media. You can find us at YC Resources on Instagram, LinkedIn, and what I did not mention in the slide is also on YouTube. So that's the easiest way for you to just show your support. But if you're more of a gung-ho individual who wants to show that next level support, or you want to stay more up to date with what we're doing in your area or campaigns that you can get more involved with right away, go to our website and subscribe to our newsletter at www. You can just put in Young Canadians for Resources.ca and it should come up. So that's one of the best ways. In that newsletter that you should subscribe to, you'll find job opportunities, resource-based news, trying to think, other opportunities that could be coming up and events that may be piquing your interest. So beyond that, there are other ways that you can get involved. If you want to create your own sort of regional base of YCR, wherever you may find yourself living, or you want to host your own YCR event like what Ryan did, you can just email us at that email address in the slide. So hello@ycresources.ca. Or if you want to write a blog about something that you're passionate about and feel like more Canadians or young people should know the importance of, or maybe the challenges that it's facing, you can send an email to that exact same one and you can write us a blog. Really, there's so many different ways that we can work with you to get you more involved, propel your own voice, or, bring light to the issues that you are passionate about. With all that being said, that's about it for our spiel. We're more than happy to take some questions at this time. I'd also like to thank you all for your support over the years. 100 Food for Thoughts is a huge milestone for us. And coming off of this huge year, we could not be more happy and grateful for all the support that we've received. So on behalf of myself and everyone here presenting, and those who maybe aren't presenting right now, but are part of this program, thank you so much for your continued support of this program. And with that, I will let Hannah start ripping some questions.